So we lost the die roll. Let's get that squared away. Alright, so this is a slow hand. Bunch of islands, no interaction, couple creatures we can cast on curve. But I think it's just too slow. Not knowing what we're playing, I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. This isn't a great hand. We can cast the Cursecatcher. We're going to see a Scry. Maybe get a turn 2 Null Rod down. There's no real interaction, but it's got hate. It's got something I can cast. I don't really want to go down to 5. So I'm going to go ahead and keep. Scry to the bottom. So we got an island, Mox Sapphire, the fence grid. Okay, well, looks like we're probably playing a storm deck. So in one sense I kind of wish I had interaction, but in another sense with that defense grid out it wouldn't really matter anyway. So drawing the Cursecatcher is kind of nice because it's one of the only interactions that we can actually play on their turn with how mana light we are. So drawing into another Cursecatcher might not be all bad. So we'll see if this is the, I'm guessing this is probably one of the paradoxical outcome storm decks. So Chain of Vapor, I mean I could try to make him pay 1 for it, but that'd still remove my Cursecatcher, so. No point in sacrificing a land. So we'll just see if they can go off now. We're just going to F6. We don't have any interaction. Even if we did, we wouldn't be able to cast it through the defense grid. Alright, so the Wheel of Fortune actually made our hand quite a bit better. If we can land that Null Rod next turn, it would be really, really good. Unless they have a bunch of fast mana in hand, they don't actually have any mana to cast anything. And they're not going to be able to Force of Will it. And they've already spent a Chain of Vapor. So that Wheel of Fortune could have been a fortunate play on our part. So there's a Petal. So they might be able to like Hercule's Recall here. Start comboing off. Kind of a bummer. It would have been really nice to have had them draw us into our Null Rod and then not have been able to go off this turn. So what are you up to tonight, Howrad? I'd like to think with how long it's taking them to kind of play through this turn that you have to think they don't really have an obvious way to win out, but they might just be being careful. So I'm going to tutor for a Black Lotus probably. And then if they have, that'll give enough mana to either cast Hercule's Recall or Paradoxical Outcome. All right. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably pretty good at putting people to sleep. So here's a paradoxical outcome. Incoming. Yeah, so they've got 11 cards in hand. We know they've got a bunch of fast mana. I'm sure that we're just dead this turn. So I'll let them do their thing for a little while, but once it's obvious that we've lost, I'll probably concede. So they're back down to 5 cards in hand. So there's the tendrils. Yep, so we'll concede to that. Alright, so we don't need Dismember. Tempted to bring in a Stifle. For the Storm trigger. I think we actually might want 2 of them. We definitely want to keep our Null Rods in. Cursecatcher's okay. Misstep's actually not as good in this deck. They run a lot of 0 casting cost mana rocks. You know, it might hit a Soul Ring or something, but other than that, I mean, we can try to, I guess it hits Gataxian Probe. Probably a Tutor. It might be worth leaving in it. I think we're actually going to get rid of a True-Name Nemesis. It's a little bit slow. Might actually want to go, might want to cut another one. Could make room for like a surgical extraction. You know, if I can force a paradoxical outcome, I might be able to extract the rest of them. We'll try that. So see if we have a little bit better luck here on the play. This is not great. We're going to go ahead and mulligan. That's even worse. So we'll mulligan again. We got to kind of keep this one. I think we'll put this on top. So we're not totally dead because we have this Force Will in hand, but we're obviously light on resources. Fortunately, we'll be able to get a card back with the Silvergill Adept, and then Phantasmal Image on the Silvergill Adept, we'll be able to get another card. Kind of undoes our mulligan. So Island's not bad, but it would have been nice to get another... I mean, we really kind of have all the land we need for the hand that we have. So it would have been nice to, you know, draw into some more interaction or hate. Alright, let's see if they try to go off this turn. So this might be that defense grid. So it's a Timewalk. I think I'd rather save that Force of Will for something that's a more obvious threat. Obviously Timewalk's not good, but it doesn't win in the game like a Paradoxical Outcome does. Alright, so they have enough mana to start going off if they have a Paradoxical Outcome. So we do have to force this. And we'll get rid of the Master. I kind of want that card draw. We'll see if they have a Force of their own. Or a Flusterstorm. Or a Daze. Alright, so they're going to draw 2 cards. See what they had to get rid of. They had to get rid of a Force of Will with their Force of Will. So now they'll just kind of see that we have nothing. So we'll go ahead and F6. Alright, so Wheel of Fortune didn't draw us in another Force of Will. It did get us a Mental Misstep. Not sure how relevant it's going to be, so we're going to misstep this just so they don't know whether it's safe or not to go off. Oh, but I F6'd. So we can run out the Mox. So I'm tempted to go Silvergill Adept. And maybe Wasteland their Volcanic Island. Possibly run out a Cursecatcher. So that's not great for us. They have so much mana, I don't think the Cursecatcher is going to be that useful. I'm just going to run out the Lord. And just try to be aggressive. So they won that flip. If I draw another Lord, I'm going to be swinging in for 11. It would have been nice if they lost that flip, and maybe just have a bad hand. So they played an Underground Sea. I think I like Wastelanding the Underground Sea. Just help keep them off tendrils. And And if these make it through, is that 5? This is where if he would have lost that mana crypt the last turn. So there's 2 wins in a row for him. So hopefully they just kind of drew into nothing, and well, that's great. We won that game. So I think I still like this configuration. I didn't really see anything in that game that kind of makes you want to bring in anything else. So we're going to go ahead and submit. So, no Force of Will. It's kind of a bummer. But we are able to go into Cursecatcher, Silvergill Adept. We got Strip Mine if they run out like a Tolarian Academy. We'll see some card draw with the images on Silvergill Adept. So it's an uninteractive hand, but you know, who knows, I might get Time Twisted or Wheel of Fortune away anyway. I think we're going to keep. Of course, if they're playing those cards, we're probably losing anyway with this hand. So preordain, let's see if they scry top bottom. So bottom draw. So seems good for us. So they don't run very many sources of colored mana. So hopefully he's gonna have to spend some turns digging for another blue source. Although they got the Mox Opal. Alright. So I drew a Wasteland we don't really need. So we'll run out the Cursecatcher with basic island, just in case they're running Wastelands. I don't really want to run out the Cavern of Souls and then not be able to cast Silvergill Adept or a Phantasmal Image next turn. And this, I mean, they make so much mana, Cursecatcher is rarely relevant, but you never know. So they must have seen some pretty decent cards. When they used Sensei's Divining Top, they didn't choose to fetch away the top cards. So they've got a paradoxical outcome. I think I might as well just make him crack that fetch. I kind of doubt that that 1 mana that they're not going to have is going to be relevant, but like I said earlier, you never know. So I think we'll just F6 here. We would have forced that paradoxical outcome if we had one, so the opponent knows that it's safe. I mean, I suppose that we could bluff like a Mental Misstep, but I don't really know that there's much worth in doing that. So Merfolk, in my experience, actually hasn't had that bad of a Storm matchup. Mainboarding Null Rods has been pretty good. It definitely has like a lot of the right kind of interaction. It has the Force of Wills, Mental Missteps, like I said, like the Mainboard Null Rods. That I'd say probably more than 50% of the time, I'm usually able to, you know, kind of stop them long enough to, you know, get lethal through, or either just shut them off completely with Null Rod. So, kind of a bummer, just seeing, you know, maybe the wrong side of the deck this game. So they might be going for Tendrils here. I see they got a black mana floating. So that's for the tutor. So they're spending a while on this demonic tutor. I'm pretty sure that you know, we've lost, but because I mean, at worst they could just get another paradoxical outcome, draw a bunch of cards, and continue comboing off. So with that on the stack, it looks like they're going to have paradoxical outcome. So I think we're just going to concede here. So good games.